The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Subdeadites, before we begin, there is a trailer at the end of this video. If you've already seen the last part of Kaiju, then don't worry about it. Otherwise, please stay tuned. Welcome, Deadites. It's been a bit since we've last been here. But welcome to part 5 of What If Deku Was the Wolverine. School has been going on for about a week or two, so it's no surprise that this is about to happen. Young ones, we are doing combat exercises today. You will be put in pairs for a hero versus villain match. I don't think I need to go further on that conversation, so here we go. As usual, I randomized the pairings, and these are the results. Jubilee and Sato versus Tokoyami and Mystique. Kirishima and Koda versus Ida and Ojiro. Negasonic and Asui versus Logan and Jiro. Ashido and Shoji versus Bakugo and Mineta. Todoroki and Yayarozu versus Hagakure and Uraraka. Aoyama and Yukio versus Sero and Kaminari. As for which teams are the heroes and villains, the first team mentioned in the pairings are going to be the villains, while the second team is the hero. While some of these may very well be a foregone conclusion, I've still got to play at least some of them out, now don't I? Raven has had about a week to assess the quirks of her classmates. Unfortunately, so too has Jubilee. But let's not assume an immediate W, shall we? There's no fun in that, after all. Alright, big guy. We've got to keep them away from the bomb at all costs. Should Tokoyami come at us, I've got him covered. Firework is made to take him down, after all. Unlike her boyfriend, the canon version, Jubilation wasn't about to go balls to the walls in a closed space. At best, she'd be using the explosive force of a mortar, the firework, not the artillery. So, in the worst case scenario, the room might take a bit of damage. Jubilation would distance herself from the bomb and search for the heroes, while Rikido would stay behind to guard the payload. Then she thought about it.
Crap. I almost forgot about Raven.
Hey, Sato, I was told to treat this as an active bomb. So under no circumstances will I be entering this room of my own will once I leave it. Strike down anyone who comes in here, even if they look like me.
Jubilation laid down her orders and was on the hunt for a pair of heroes. Meanwhile, our heroes were formulating a plan to victory. A victory that sadly would not be coming for them. Jubilee had found her targets and let out the strongest blasts she could keep non-lethal. Bright light had rendered dark shadow pretty much useless, as well as blinded Mystique and Tokoyami. She finished them off with a final mortar blast that was really game. Of course, she set it off so they didn't take the full brunt of the attack. Jubilee helped Raven up.
Good game, Raven.
She hugged her friend, and Raven hugged back.
You too. I knew we were going to lose. Just didn't think it was going to happen so soon. Let me guess. You told Sato you wouldn't re-enter that room of your own will.
Jubilation gives the affirmation, and they head back to the briefing room. Well, that was rather quick. Randomizers can be cruel sometimes. All Might, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Now for the next one. Tenya and Ojiro were making a plan to ascend. Tenya had speed on his side, while Ojiro had technique. This isn't exactly a given, but here we go. As Tenya sped his way through, he eventually ran into a mass of barely visible spider webs. For some odd reason, they were quite sticky. Tenya cried out for Ojiro and he made his way to them. "Don't worry, I'll get you out of..." They were both bitten by spiders, and an odd cackle could be heard from further away. "You heroes had best give up. The spiders that bit you were quite venomous. If you value your lives, put those cuffs on." This was Koda's plan, oddly enough. And Kirishima was sweating bullets. He was so not cool with this. But Koda seemed to be reveling in his role. Not to the point that it's creepy, but to the point that he's clearly keeps telling himself that I'm the villain, I have to be villainous. The heroes thought he was joking, but as they look in his cold, dead eyes, they gulp. They couldn't confirm what had bit them since Ojiro had killed his on reflex and Tenya's had gotten away. The heroes submit and Koda yells for medic! I know that's rather cruel for Koda, but come on now. Once again, he's playing the role of a villain. Now, this one is going to be interesting. Logan wasn't even there yet and was just now arriving when Logan walks through the door in his X-Force uniform. However, there was an addition to it. The mask had been replaced for a hood. Everyone looked at him in awe. "Look, I'm done hiding. Jiro, you ready to let loose on these fools?" That got a smile out of Kyoka. Wolverine thought she was capable enough to do this, so she had some pep in her step, and they got in position. Once they left, the cameras to the test area turned on. Ali, you've got your work cut out for you. Logan is so pumped that he had a new costume designed. Gone are his days of masking himself. At least here, that is. The hood was big enough to hide his face, but Toshinori didn't think that was the intention. The hood was fur-lined, and he was rocking a belt that looked like, well, sort of like bear traps or something. It was a little flashy for Logan's taste. Then it hit Toshinori. This new suit is a shout-out to his aunt.
Good. They've reconciled. Now I'm really scared for them. What manner of hellish training did Sabretooth put him through?
Logan outstretches a fist and Kyoka pounds it with hesitation. So, the problem here is Negasonic. Logan gently grabs Kyoka in a friendly manner, cupping her face. She's X-Force, so she's used to using her powers to take advantage of her opponent's weaknesses. People like you and me that have high auditory senses are the worst kind of people that have to go against her. I don't think she'll risk permanent damage for you, but she is a massive problem for people like you and me. I'm going to be watching you very carefully, and so is All Might. If either one of us thinks your hearing is in danger, we're throwing in the towel. Do you hear me? This place is a sound chamber for her, so we can't rely on our ears here. I'd say use my nose, but... Kyoka chimed in. Her partner is gonna be a problem for you, isn't she? She could be spreading her scent all over as we speak. I don't know how I feel about you telling me to fight a battle with a loss in mind, though. Logan was smiling at her. She's got the point that no matter how mighty one is, they should always have a contingency. If it comes down to it, I'll put my sound versus hers.
I can't let the one and only Wolverine lose in such a fashion now, can I? Kyoka said while laughing. Logan could always regenerate faster than his ears were being destroyed, but if that happened to Kyoka, of course she could rely on rhythm and channel sounds to her heart. Damn it. I can find them, but if we do so, it's gonna be a flat-out battle. I'll do my best to keep Negasonic pinned, but you're gonna have to deal with Asui. Logan smiled again. Don't worry, I've got plenty of practice catching in toes. She won't be a problem. Logan was, of course, referencing Todd Talansky, the Toad. After his part in his father's death eventually came to light, Logan made it a mission to lop his head off. Toad sold them out, and for what? $1 or some measure of freedom? Sadly, every time he got his hands on him, he managed to slip away just before Logan could make the final blow, to a point where he swore that if he ever saw him again, he'd just go for the jugular immediately. He wasn't gonna let that slimy son of a bitch get away. But back to the point, yeah? Just as they thought would happen, Tsuyu's scent was everywhere, and Negasonic was channeling sound throughout the whole building. Logan was trying for heartbeats, but he came up short. However, Kyoka used her ear jacks and got a ping. They were both on the second floor. Jiro made 2 fingers and pointed upwards. Logan got the point, but the stairs were covered in slime. Hold on tight. I'll get us up there. Kyoka blushed a bit as she pressed her body firmly to Logan. Raven's eye was twitching in irritation, and Toru, who was currently in her waiting room prepping for a plan for her fight, was oddly annoyed for some reason. She just didn't know why. They got beyond the stairs and were immediately bombarded with concussive energy blast. She had been waiting for them. Kyoka jumped off Logan and just started blasting, countering Negasonic as best she could. Wolverine took that chance to dash away and find the objective. Negasonic turned to attack him, but hey, haircut! I'm your opponent, not him! A cacophony of deafening sounds could be heard roaring into the building. Everyone whose name wasn't Logan was going to be severely shell-shocked, to say the least, by the end of this. As he was running through the building, he finally found Tsuyu. If you're feeling froggy, leap. Just keep in mind that I'm feeling clawful. Wolverine let out a full set of claws on his left hand. Wolverine had made not a threat, but a promise that he'd strike Froppy down with his claws. Froppy shot her tongue out at Wolverine, and he clearly missed her on purpose. She wasn't stupid. While she could definitely make him work for it, she didn't want to risk him getting caught in the moment and causing her permanent harm, such as cutting her tongue out. Wolverine took that moment of hesitation to give her a full force punch to the gut and knocked her out. He then cuffed her and touched the bomb. It was a good thing he had done that too, since the aftermath of those two fighting in this place would have been bad for all parties involved. Well, ones that aren't named Logan. All Might had a sidebar with Logan. Were you really about to cut her tongue? Logan sighed. I've told you about what happened with Talansky. I almost hurt her, but I got control at the last second. I think she caught wind of that and hesitated because of it. But yeah, I won't be letting that happen again. This is supposed to be a safe place. She also kinda needed to learn the dangers of using her tongue as a weapon. And I think she got the message. Telegraphing attacks is the worst thing a warrior can do, really. All Might nodded his head in agreement. The other three fights are so one-sided that I'm not even going to bother with, well, at least two of them. Todoroki and Yaoyorozu take the W for their fight, and Team Yukio and Aoyama take the W on theirs. Bakugo and Mineta barely took the W on their end, though. While Mina wasn't going all out, since if she did, she could kill somebody. I mean, acid. The floor was a whole nother thing, though. However, Bakugo managed to explode a support beam that was weakened by Mina's acid. Ha! Some big bad X-Force elite you are. You miss! Then the redundant support beam fell right on her, and Mineta stalked her with his pop-off, just like they did Ojiro. Did I really, though? Never assume victory, Miss Ashido. It gets people killed. With both villains detained, Team Bakugo has the victory. Katsuki just walked away. Hey! Don't turn your back on me, outsider! Yup, you heard that right. This Mina is from Genosha and had applied for the X-Force. Believe it or not, Katsuki took her slot and she damn well knew it, which is why when she heard they were going to UA, she reached out to her parents and was now living with them again. After transferring from Genosha, Logan once again witnessed a shivering Toru Hagakure and wrapped his jacket over her while hugging her. You look like you could use some warmth. Toru giggles and kisses Logan on the cheek. Thank you, Logan. I'll be back in a minute. Toru zips up the jacket enough to have it hug her for him. She put a little sway into her walk since she knew Logan was watching. Once she's out of view, Logan turns to see Raven glaring at him. That was twice he'd given her that jacket. How did an invisible girl push his buttons so damn well? A few minutes later, Logan stirred and a smile was on his face. Guess who? Well, hello there, Toru. Raven sighed and gave in.
Great. First name basis. Well, she's a good girl, so I'll drop the jealousy. To a point.
So, we're going out for dinner and a movie tonight, right? All three of us, right? Both Logan and Toru could tell the slight of annoyance in her tone. Plus, she said right twice. The original plan was for Logan and Toru to enjoy a night on the town, but they both took one look. Logan took one look at Toru, and she gave an Toru didn't care if she was girlfriend number 2 or 1 at that point, so long as she had Logan's attention. The three had a good time, and Raven got a little closer to Toru. However, X-Force was making their way back to Genosha for a mission. The Blackbird. As they landed on Genosha, a film of green energy could be formed. The entire X-Force was combat ready. If you saw the last Kaiju, know that this isn't going to be a problem. But before the X-Force was a burly-looking green-haired man taking a knee on a sword, and 2 rather large-looking people that seemed to have reptilic skin to a point. However, Logan knows those 2 very well. What the hell? Mom? Not quite. So, where are we again, He-Man?
I guess I'll take point here. Logan Creed, I'm going to need you to come with me.
Let me guess. Multiversal threat?
Not your first rodeo?
Hell no, it ain't.
Huh, Bring your sister with you.
Yes!
Rena gets to go. If you liked that, let's get a United States smash on that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider going full cowling with that subscribe button. And let's go plus ultra with the notifications. Ring that bell, baby. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.